Yes, sir.
Sometimes the people, when they hear the hadith of Jibreel,
No.
they get the wrong conception that fiqh is the superficial understanding of religion, and then Aqidah is the deeper one, and then Tasawwuf is the deepest.
No.
We just want to highlight and clarify that each of these sciences, whether it is fiqh or Aqidah or Tasawwuf, has its own very deep insights.
No. No.
And they all lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at
طبعاً.
some level. And it's not like hierarchical
No.
views of religion, but they are all different angles of looking at the same haqiqah.
نعم صحيح. Yes, I mean, the point being raised is very important, is that the fact that these are levels, doesn't, I might say there is a little bit of a hierarchy in the sense that, I mean, you progress from one, I mean, to have only Islam and to have Islam and Iman, obviously, that's better than, but I would even say that all these three levels are equally important. And they coexist, and they cannot exist without each other. You cannot have ihsan without Islam. You cannot have Sufi, Tasawwuf, but no fiqh is not there. You don't know how to pray, you don't know. At the same time, your fiqh can never be perfect. Your salah, as much as you put your hand on the finger exactly, but if the hudurul qalb is not there, the experience of Allah, then your salah is still lost. It's still missing a very important component. In fact, within the salah itself, there is Islam, there is Iman, there is Ihsan. Within the Sawm, every ritual that you do in Islam, you have to have Islam, Iman, and Ihsan in it. Your Hajj, there is the Islam aspect of it, which is the fiqh aspect of it. To do the Hajj properly, where you throw the stones, where you make tawaf, how you make ihram. There is no Hajj without it. But there is the Iman aspect of it, to have that yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that when you're doing. And following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Khuzu anni manasikukum," take your Hajj from me. And then there is the ihsan level of, while you are making tawaf of the Kaaba, which is the Islamic ruling that you do, following Rasulullah, because that is Iman in Rasulullah. That's why you do that, what he was doing. But then there comes the aspect that you are not worshipping that building called the Kaaba. You have to be experiencing Allah in this whole procedure of tawaf. So every ritual that we follow in Islam must have in it Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. Otherwise, all three exist together. So one can never undermine fiqh and say, Sufism is the real deal in Islam, fiqh is not important. As, of course, very commonly we hear the other way around also, Fiqh is the most important in Sharia, Sufism is not. And we live in these times where, Islam is being compartmentalized, and that is not good. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually didn't even divide these things. In fact, in his time, there was no divisions. It was just deen, Later on, for people's benefit, it was called Hada Tajweed and Fiqh, wa the Aqidah, wa the Mishdari, all these. In his time, if you have to go to Rasulullah's time and ask the Sahaba, when do you teach Aqidah? When does the Prophet teach Aqidah? They will like, where's Aqidah? When does the Prophet teach Tajweed, ya akhi? When does he teach Fiqh? Wallahi, they will not know what you are talking about. They say, Ya akhi, Rasulullah yu'allimuna ad-din. He teaches us the deen. Khalas, But obviously, times progress and everything has to be divided and so on. So these titles came. But in reality, yes, as the gentleman has mentioned, we should not undermine any aspect. And that's why I said you need to spend a lifetime learning all three. You can never say, I'm done with it. Oh, the Islam level, I'm done with that now. No, there's always more to learn. Even in fiqh, there is always more. The fiqh of the deen is always, it's an iman level. You cannot say, I have now complete iman. No, there is always more. And remember, you are being tested. Allah, حَسِبَ النَّاسُ يَقُولُ آمَنَّهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do people think they can say we have iman and ihsan and I'm not going to test them? That's why even the biggest awliya Allah are tested. In fact, their test is bigger than anybody else's test. Allah tests them very hard. And there are some awliya sometimes who fail, who fall, and they go so up and they fall down. So even they have to have more taqwa and they fear Allah because they can be tested. Rasulullah was tested. He has Islam, Iman, Ihsan. He is the embodiment of all of that, but he used to be tested. Right? Wasn't he tested with his wife Sayyidah Aisha when the people called her names and the iftira, the whole theory? It was a test for him. Rasulullah took it as a test. And ma aksar al-imtihanat fi hayat Rasulullah. How many tests he had? So we spend a lifetime trying to understand all of these aspects. And we respect the masters of each science. It is not to say if you are now connected to some great wali of Allah, a master of the science of ihsan, a muhsin, a man who is arif billah, that you now undermine the ulama of the sharia. These alims of the sharia, they only know sharia. Or some people who are so much in fiqh and sharia, they undermine the awliya. He doesn't even know how much fiqh he studied, how many years he studied in the Azhari or Shaykh, what he knows. So this attitude people have undermining each other is not good. We give everyone the other, there is, he's a mufti, he's a alim of the sharia, and I have all respect for him. He's a wali, he's a man of hal, I respect him for his hal. Somebody else is something. So we have that moderation, inshallah.